to Ministry Mondays with Meg. I'm Meg. You guys, welcome. I am so glad to have you here. I also have a really exciting guest. I know I tell you that every time, but it's true. Um, if you have never seen Ministry Mondays with Meg before, one, welcome. Two, where have you been? We're available. Just Google us. Like we're everywhere. Or at least I'm trying to be everywhere. If not, give me a little bit and I'll find a place. So enough of that. So today, my guest is, well, Reverend Dr. Kimberly Majeski, who was both my advisor in my and New Testament and the worship one.
Yes.
Baptizing. Learned to baptize properly and taught me wonderful things that really did come in handy when I was pastoring. So, Dr. Majeski, one, thank you so much for finding time in your crazy busy schedule.
I'm so delighted to be here. Meg has always been one of my favorite people, obviously one of my favorite students. And it's so fun to kind of watch you from behind the scenes and see what you're doing and being excited about it. And then to get to be on here and have a conversation. So it's really just an excuse for us to get to catch up.
You know, like, right. It's like that with a lot of people too, though. But the nice thing is I'm doing the same. Is like you can do so much on social media, then you go, look at this really cool thing, and I wonder if they'll come talk about their really cool thing. So, so you are our second person who comes out of the Church of God, Anderson.
For those who
don't know, my undergrad and my MDiv came from Anderson universities. It's not School of Theology now.
Go Ravens. School of Theology and Christian Ministry.
And Christian Ministries, yes. Go Ravens. Rodney the Raven. And so I guess we'll start with, for people who don't know you, why don't you tell everybody about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kimberly Majeski. I am originally from Nashville, Tennessee. I moved to Anderson, Indiana to pursue a Master of Divinity degree. Ended up staying here to, after getting married in Tennessee, to moved here to pursue my MDiv and ended up staying and becoming the campus pastor at AU. And then went on to work on my doctorate at AU and then at the University of Notre Dame. And really just through that process fell in love with the call of teaching as a pastoral office, and preaching and teaching and writing kind of are my scholarship or kind of my wheelhouse areas. And so, yeah, I went on the faculty at the School of Theology in New Testament and did that for about the last 20 years. I had a baby, adopted a son in 2014 in an hour's notice. And so that's been a big part of my life the last few years. I've done a couple things that feel important. I launched a nonprofit for women who were survivors of domestic sex trafficking here in Central Indiana in 2010, and then kind of help that become established across the U.S. and develop other teams. And handed that off after kind of deciding I wanted to focus on, it was really a grassroots effort, but kind of needed to, it had grown so big I couldn't both teach and be a mom and a wife and ran a nonprofit and all these things.
Yeah.
I also launched this online academy called uh, Preacher Girl School for equipping women who couldn't necessarily go to graduate school, but who needed training in ministry and connection.
Mm.
And so in 2021, I think, or 2022, I accepted a position as a executive director of Christian Women Connection, which is our women's branch of Church of God Ministries, or the Church of God. We kind of oversee the equipping, empowering of women, lay women, and then through women's ministries, and then women clergy. We support and connect women around the world. We do what we can to help build a better world
Mm.
through missions and um, lots of intentional education work. And it felt like kind of my nonprofit and my academic preparation kind of came together in one position. And I really do love what I do. Get to lead trips and show women the story of early church women in history, and help educate women in Africa and help them build industry and teach women here, and all of that feels really, really good. When I'm not doing that, I'm chasing my kid from one ballpark to the next. um, my husband's a realtor, and he's really busy guy too. But we love our life. We love each other. And yeah, I just feel like this is one of those seasons where you just have to um, be really intentional to be present, or you might blink and it's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. You ever feel like that? Like you just go, "Oh my gosh, like they pay me to do this." I mean,
Yeah.
you go, "Oh,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
women
There
are
was
paid to do
um, we had there have been several disasters in Africa. Lots and lots of flooding, and so crops have been destroyed, and so lots and lots of food shortage. And so to be able to run an organization that women leaders can send a message and say, we need money, we need money for supplies, for food, families are hungry, and to be able to sign that check and get it there by the next day. I'm really grateful for the women who support the work, who believe in the work we're doing, and who care about their sisters around the world, and believe that all God's children are our responsibility. So that feels really, really special and sacred.
I still have my T-shirt
You
from
do?
from Strip Love when
Good.
you
Yes,
launched.
yes, yes,
I
yes. Uh-huh.
still I still wear it on occasions, like,
Good.
yeah, because, I mean, that was when I was first in
Yeah.
serving as a pastor, and people think like, "Oh, like, what else can be done that hasn't been done?" And that's like you're going, "Okay, you guys, so let me tell you about my professor from seminary." Like, and you're like they're like, Wait a second. You we know where you went to seminary because we talked about this when we hired you." But, like, it's going, "Really?"
Yes,
And
hanging out in strip
it
clubs before class the night yeah, the night. I'm sorry, I might look a little bit rough tomorrow morning. I've been out.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and so, like, to do your birthday fundraiser, on Facebook or something like that, and choose
yeah.
some don't say that there's nothing that we can't do, because, like, people are still dreaming and trying things. I mean, who Who would have ever thought it? I I just am, amazed at the, strength that God gives us to and these brains and the creativity that we've been blessed with to use them and to do these things.
Mm.
Um, so and I remember seeing the Preacher Girl Academy,
Mhm.
which you said was, uh, m mostly was it mostly people who were lay leaders, or is that
Well, it was in it for women. We had a couple men come through who wanted to learn about how to equip women. I mean, they
okay.
had sincere hearts, and but it was entirely for women to connect and grow and thrive. Because I was aware, you know, sometimes you get students in graduate school who are not ready for graduate school, but who need something. I have all kind of women that I was aware of who were preaching and teaching, leading, and had never been taught how to write a sermon,
Mm,
or maybe had only heard men preach, or
mm,
had only been taught how to write a sermon from a man. And the way that a woman does that is entirely different and unique to her own femininity and her own sensibility, her own connection to the texts. And I just wanted to validate that process. I wanted to encourage that part of us as women who to see different sides of the text, um, to to give permission to read from the bottom up, to care about Bathsheba and not just David, to want to know more about Dinah and not just the brothers, um, to ask questions about Yael and not just the warriors. Like I wanted us to explore all of those vistas that are really unexplored because of um, the dominant narrative that has just been um, so much propagated over the
yeah.
years. No disrespect. It's just
No,
that what connects with us as women might be different than what connects to someone else who's had an entirely different dominant narrative experience.
and I think that's true no matter what denomination you're a part of or movement,
Correct.
you're a part of is that I didn't hear a woman preach from the pulpit until I was in seminary,
Mhm,
and then I wept, like
mhm.
not just a little bit, like, this was a whole it was a Presbyterian church in Indianapolis, and it was the ugly cry
Mhm,
because holy moly, it was I think it was that thing that your heart had longed for so
mhm,
long, and then you have the opportunity to see it, to hear it, and you go, "Oh my gosh,
mhm,
yes," and I remember learning about David and Bathsheba and looking at it a different way, and the woman at the well, that
mhm,
one is, um it does, it changes the way it changes the way you read the Bible when you go, "That's not what Jesus was saying." Jesus is not going, "Shame on you." Jesus is going, "I know. I know, I see you. I know, what you've gone through, and I love you.
mhm,
Um, but I see you." Instead of going, "Oh, thank God Jesus showed up to save her from her sins," yes, we're grateful for all of that, but this was Jesus who's saying, "I see you."
yeah, and the story of Mary and Martha, and all anybody can talk about is busybody Martha,
Yeah.
and forget that what Jesus calls blessed is that Mary is sitting at his feet, learning with the men. She's in male space, you know, which would have been forbidden. And this is what Jesus calls blessed. But
Yeah.
all we have gleaned from that text, and however many years it's been accessible to us, is all Martha. We're just so busybody. And what it
Right.
says, Maranao, anxious cares. She has too many anxious cares. Like who can't identify with that?
Right. Right. And yet she sits at the feet of Jesus. Yeah. Um, See, like this is what I love. And you've been on what was it, like A&E and like the
Yes,
history of the
I
Bible.
got to do the History Channel.
I
Um,
watched it. I remember when and going, that's my professor.
yeah, the life of Jesus. What they did was like several episodes. It's 3 or 4 episodes, and they wanted to show Jesus through his relationships, the
Mhm.
primary relationships, and so I was so excited to be able to give commentary on his relationships with Mary Magdalene and his mother. And I think I ended up being the scholar that, I mean, they got footage on his relationship with Caiaphas and Pilate. And I think I got to give a little bit on his mother too. But yeah, it was great fun and I loved it. And I can't wait to do it again.
I mean, it's just like it's the coolest thing to go, hey, I know a person who did it, who did a thing, and there it is, and I'm sure we can find it and put it all in the show notes,
Oh
and
yeah.
all, yeah,
They play those things, like History Channel plays it over and over, like every Easter and every Christmas, when people want to watch those kind of things. So yeah.
I mean, sure, why not? I mean, it's still Easter, you know. Uh, I forgot I was gonna go from the preacher girl to the Arise because I was wondering,
Yes.
so what's the difference? So we got the preacher girl school and its purpose. So and Arise is what's the difference between the
So
two?
the organization that I lead is called Christian Women Connection.
Okay.
And it is open to Christian women. And so Arise is the stream that is for clergy women.
Okay.
And so we have monthly leadership calls that we do, just a safe place for clergy women to get on. We usually have a topic, and we talk about usually hard things. I mean, like in November, we were like, our topic was like, how do lead people? How do you pastor during, Israel and Gaza and all the sides, and just I literally just gave a socio-political history of, to just say it's not as easy as to say this side with this side with. We just did one the other night in April on kind of the ministry of insufficiency and
Mm,
how we get run down and ways we can help invest in ourselves. And we don't want it to be another thing you have to do. We want it to be the well. We want it to be an oasis where you can come, you are safe, it is confidential, we hold you, we pray for you, and we exist for you. We provide events, retreats. We send out newsletters with resources and podcasts, and just things that we think will support and uh, help your ministry. We use these women, Meg. Would love to get you involved in this. We use these clergy women to kind of be the teachers of
mm.
our women's ministry. So
Oh,
these are the women that we solicit to write our curriculum, to write our meditations, to write our Bible studies, to preach our retreats.
mm,
These clergy women then become our teachers, preachers for the leading of our other women. So, so that's the Arise network, and then we have what we call Arise Academy, and the Arise Academy is open to everyone, but it's courses to
Okay.
support, connect, to help you support and connect and thrive. And there are certain courses that are, you know, intentionally for clergy women, and there are certain courses that are for anybody.
Okay.
We don't restrict them. If somebody who isn't clergy wants to take Preach Like a Girl, then you can take it. But that's particularly a course that's for someone who's preparing for or a clergy. So we have Preach Like a Girl, we have Lead Like a Girl, we have Aaron Moss Taylor taught that.
Okay.
We had a course this last year on women in worship led by Leslie Barnes, who's the best there is. We had Jennifer Wilson, who you know, she led one
Okay.
on like how to manage your inner world and outer world, like
Mm,
just time management and home management and resource management. And it was just beautiful. Sacred space we've done. So, I mean, they're all kind, we're doing a wellness one in
mm,
September with a dietitian and nutritionist. So all sorts of topical. We just did one on anti-trafficking, how to anti-trafficking work in your community. That was, you know, 2 hours, one day, totally free. Um, and you know, it was great. I just did one on in Lent that was the women at the end.
mm,
That focused on the women who walked with Jesus through the end of his life. So just different topical. Some of them are very biblically focused. Some of them are very self, you know, development focused. Some of them are practically here's how you preach focused.
mm.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
And so they're open to people not in the Church of God as well.
Wide open. We reach our hand in fellowship to every blood washed one, and we want y'all to come. They're very economically priced for those that are taught by master's or doctoral level
Mm,
professors. Most are. There are CEUs available. They're unbelievable quality. They're master's level quality and just incredible. We have one on Enneagram and leadership. I mean, just incredible courses that I'm so excited about and just really want to help women grow right where they are, just as they are. And yes, they're open. You can find those on our website at christianwomenconnection.org.
okay. And we'll put that in the show notes for everybody. But so here's my little plug. Um, I'll say no, I haven't done the Arise stuff yet. But having gone to AU, graduated from AU as a Baptist, in the school, there was I had no problem. People have asked about that before. I'm like, you know, here was the thing: is for me it was great because it was um, going looking at this foundation that I had built, what I had been taught to this point, and then basically like pulling it completely apart and figuring out who I am, who God has called me to be, and and it was just okay. Well, back it up scripturally. So for me, it was a great experience. I have no regrets about about it at all. So I imagine given my seminary experience and knowing some of these wonderful teachers that you've had, um, that 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 it is definitely worth your time, your money,
No,
and
thank you for saying that.
yeah, no, I have said it. I've been asked many times, and truly for me, it was a. I don't know that I would have. Um, or no, it was where God wanted me to be then, and
Mhm.
and and I'm grateful for it. So I'm certain that there are other women who would. benefit from this so much. So, there's my plug for that. Um, and and so all of this is inside that executive director role, right? Is that right? Or is that over and above?
Yes. Yeah. And then, the other thing is I try to lead these trips,
Oh, you're still doing the trips. Okay.
to help women discover the stories of early church,
Mhm.
women more deeply. We just finished a trip this fall to Rome to study Prisca and Phoebe, and that was just gorgeous and beautiful and amazing. And I had them crawling around the catacombs
Of course. Like,
and ancient churches. And this year we're going to visit. We actually have built 6 sewing centers in East Africa to help women. People don't know, but Uganda, particularly, was one of the countries hit hardest by COVID. And they were out of school longer there than any other place in the world. And they've had a real, just an incredible crisis with unwanted teen pregnancy,
mhm,
underage pregnancy. Some like 32,000 young women a month becoming pregnant, many of them against their will through stories of trafficking or being sold off by their parents. They can't afford to house them anymore. And so when we asked, how we could help, they said we need ways to build these centers where they can learn a skill, a trade, earn a wage, and have agency. And so we've built these sewing centers strategically throughout the country so women can come and do just that. And we've been able to build 6 of them. So this year, in November, we'll be going first to Cairo, visit the ancient stuff, and then to visit our sisters in Uganda and friends from the DRC, where we've also built some centers. We'll be bringing them over, and we're going to have a convention there with our sisters in East Africa and just kind of celebrate the launch of these sewing centers. The hope is that these women then will then begin to make textiles that we can then sell here in the U.S., and that will become an income stream for them.
I should introduce you to my friend Rockme, who came to the United States, and went to seminary at Central Baptist in Kansas, and she started a like a sewing center um, here in the United States for women who come over as
Oh, yeah,
refugees, because they don't have any money.
yeah.
And so what they make are shopping bags, are like the
Mhm,
reusable shopping bags, and out of scrap material, out of whatever donated material, so that there's no like overhead cost for that. And so the women then get to keep the money to you know, help take care of their families.
yeah,
Um, and I think that is so courageous, people uh, who go, okay, so what is really the need here? And then go, okay, now what can we do with the resources that we have to make a difference?
mhm.
So 32,000 women a month.
Can you imagine?
n- I can't. I mean, I can't. Like your brain just goes,
Mhm,
no.
mhm.
I mean,
Yeah,
how horrible, how horrible. And then to have people who go, okay, well, let's try and make a difference in this. And yeah, how yeah, that this gets to be our jobs again.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that this is meant, and that's part of the reason, like why I started this podcast, was like to go, this is ministry. Like
Right.
it's so much more than what happens in a church building. A
Yes.
church building, I think, worship. I mean, more than anything. And do we need that? Yes, of course we do. But let's talk about, like, ministry. The real ministry is getting your hands dirty and going to all these places and leaning in and going, "What is it? What is it that you need? And how is it that we can help you?" Not coming in and going, "We're gonna fix it for you,"
Right.
but going, "Let's equip you to have the
Mhm.
ability to." That's the kingdom work right there, and that's what I love.
Yeah.
But how did you get, like, because I know your mama has gone on to glory, but, like, was she past like, how did you get to ministry? I forget. Was this, like,
Uh,
always the thing? Was that always the
no,
thing?
no, no, no.
I forget.
What I've always been about was justice work.
Yes.
So, I mean, as a baby kid on the playground, I was telling the bully, "Don't you mess with her." Like, that's who I've to my core.
Mm,
So I thought I was gonna be an attorney, I was gonna be a civil rights attorney, thought I was preparing I wanted to run for Congress and, um
you could still do that. I mean,
right. Um, and I did that when I first came out of so my undergrad is political science and history, and I did that when I came out of school. I worked at the state legislature, I worked for a United States congressman, and I worked for the majority floor leader at the Tennessee General Assembly and just turned my stomach, because it wasn't about idealism. It was
mhm.
about getting assigned a bill because you were the lowest on the totem pole and watching these guys hook up with interns and, it just so, I took my vacation that week, 1 week. I had one week of vacation making $19,000 a year, and I went to church camp where I had grown up, and, like, be a volunteer. I was gonna lead worship, and I remember I lost my voice on the 2nd day. The girls were so ugly to me, little junior high girls. They didn't want anything to do with my lessons. I mean, it was just the worst experience in my life, and I ended up getting called to ministry that week, and it was this huge, people talk about that I think skeptical of, it was a complete, you know, hearing a voice, s can't won't let you go, you know, kind of thing, and literally, like, giving my life over the whole plan that I had. I went back, gave up my position that I had, been I mean 5th and 6th grade, I, like, would pick up state and local government books at garage sales and read them. Like, I was so focused in on that kind of life, and so to just kind of say, "Okay, well," you know, and, so that's how, and I was serving at a church at my church. I became like the young adults pastor and then the youth pastor, and then I was the associate where you should get to do all the crap. You should get to do all the and I'm like leading board meetings and I'm preaching and I'm doing all this stuff and I've had no training. None. Like my training is political science. And I said I need to get some train, and that's when I applied to AU.
Okay.
And I didn't think they'd take me because my undergraduate was political science. I was like, they don't take people into seminary who have no, biblical training, um, but I had studied scripture my whole life. I was very, biblically literate and devoted to. Froze told me I worshiped a paper pope. Like yeah. So it wasn't like I wasn't a student of the Bible, but I just didn't have any formal training. So yeah, so I got accepted, and we put up. My husband, worked on Music Row, and he just was so willing to believed that it was God's call. We put a sign in the yard and we moved from Nashville, Tennessee to Anderson, Indiana. And here we still sit 20 some
And
years later.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's a fantastic realtor, by the way, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard that from several, and
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a little different market up here, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's doing well. Yeah. Grateful for it.
And it is just, you know, how you see God's hand in everything. To have a spouse who's like, yeah, I work on music, but I will give that up, and we'll go to Anderson, Indiana,
Mhm.
and uh, for those who don't know Anderson, Indiana, it is how do you I don't even know how you
Cornfield metropolis.
okay, that works. Cornfield Metropolis. I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, love the school and things like that. Yeah, but it's Indiana. It's
Yeah.
you
It
know,
is it is a bedroom community of Indianapolis, and it
yeah.
has grown up a lot, I'll tell you. Like Indianapolis has grown out this way. And it is the most beautiful community of a people. Like I love the people here. But it was, I mean, it was a culture shock coming from Nashville
Imagine,
to
imagine.
this.
Um, so like if you could tell your younger self, that self that was, hey, I'm gonna change the world through politics. If you could tell that younger self anything, what would you tell her?
I would say right heart, wrong path. Like it's
Mm,
just so evident to me now that the passion, the fire, the thing was right, the call was right. Just the means to it was a little misunderstood. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still incredibly interested in politics. I I often think like if I could find a position that married the two, like I think that would just be those are my favorite topics. People say never talk about politics and religion. I mean, those are my two majors, right? Like those are the things I have
yeah.
spent my life studying. Um,
But you have to talk about politics
yeah,
and
so it's lots of fun at parties to invite
oh,
me.
I mean,
Um,
yeah,
but
I hear you.
but um, but I will say, like at this juncture, I think all that's become so grotesque and um, um, I mean, I can't
Yeah.
imagine wanting to be in an elected official. I mean, God
Mm-mm.
bless them for those who do it. I'm sure there are some who do that for the right reasons. But the buying and selling of one's soul um, at this point is just um, horrific. And let me say, it's not much better in the church. So I do believe in the separation of church and state, and I believe emphatically that we are not aligned to a party; we are aligned to Jesus, and that it is incumbent upon us to make those hard decisions in um, in the world as people of the kingdom, and that will cost us. Uh, so,
Yeah. So I was baptized in the name of Jesus, not in the name of Donald Trump or Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton or anyone else for that matter.
right,
I was
right,
baptized in the name of Jesus. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, but yeah. Oh, yeah. And shout out to Thomas, who's actually running for office, and Thomas
I
Harris. Yeah,
know, I
yeah,
know, I
love
know.
him.
Yeah, God bless him. Yeah,
Yeah, but I couldn't, I couldn't do it, and yeah. and the whole church and the church politics, yes. I love the church. The church is important, but also dot,
Mhm.
dot, dot. But also, um, it's hard. It's hard work all around. Um, and I'm just you have, like, the coolest friends, and, everything you do is, like, in, um, cute and fashionable environment, like,
You should have seen me 20 minutes ago.
"Oh,
Oh.
yeah, but, I mean, now here you are, and nobody ever knew," you know?
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
I remember, like, one time you coming into church and, like, Kevin twirling you in the lobby, and
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
"Oh my gosh." It was like an Easter Sunday, and he had a fabulous dress or something, and I was
Uh-huh.
like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh my gosh, that is the coolest thing ever." But anyway, yeah, wow. I'm see, this is always my problem, like, I you just wanna, like, the praise upon praise, but, like, it is I mean, it's like, thank you for being you and for going, "You know what? I'll keep my soul and not do politics. Instead, I'm gonna do this thing that God wants me to do, whatever that looks like." And it's looked like so many different things,
Yes. Yes,
and
yes.
and it's all for justice for others, which is also a very Baptist thing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I can't forget the joy question. The joy question.
Oh, yes, that's a good question.
Okay, so you do all these things, mama to Max, and wife to Kevin, and apparently I have seen you golf pictures of you golf. I don't golf, but that's okay. Um, so what's the thing that brings you joy?
Mm. Well, a lot of things bring me joy. I mean, a whole afternoon to play 18 holes with nowhere to be, with my girlfriends is like, I can't even tell you. On Mother's Day, I usually get to play 9 holes with Max, and that's usually like the best thing in the wide world, you know. His eyes that are this like Tupelo honey brown, and these eyelashes for days, like, that is my joy, the squishy squish of his cheek next to mine, like, um, I mean, sometimes joy is, like, sitting on, a baseball chair, watching him hit and get to second base, and I'm so proud of him that he has this gift that God gave him that I don't have anything to do with. Um, but I mean, those things are what bring me joy, like, um, unassigned time and just being, um, with my kid and and in his, like, happiness.
See, this is the reason I love this question is
Mhm.
because I think like I think this is episode like 69, I think, but like no two people have answered the question the
Oh,
same. I
that's good.
mean, even when it is their kids, it's a different, you know, and, like, I love the squish, and
I know,
because then you're then they're 14, and you don't get to do that very often, but boy, when
I
you do,
know, I
you
know.
do, and you just, like, don't let go, and, until they're like, "Mom, you're killing me."
Uh-huh.
'Cause, ugh, but yeah. Do you have, like, one of those little hut thingies? Are you one of those kinda, like, soccer moms that have the
No.
little okay, like a little 'cause I would probably need something like that if it
The
was
thing is, Meg, whatever you have, you have to haul.
oh, good point.
So, I like to be,
Mm,
light on my feet.
I get okay. no, then I'm gonna have to rethink this. Well, I'm not because,
You can
you
get a
know.
wagon, and I do have a wagon, because for tournaments and stuff, you have to bring a cooler and all
Right,
that,
right.
but, yeah. No, I mean, it was really cold this week, and I had my big coat and a blanket and my gloves on, and I had a hot coffee. I was fine.
And then at that moment, there's, like, no place on earth you'd rather be,
Oh,
but
no, plenty
okay.
places I'd rather be.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. I mean, like, just like I mean, there are moments like, when he's playing football and he catches an interception or he runs a touchdown. I mean, when the first time he made a touchdown, I lost my mind. You know what I mean? Like, he's a talented kid, but then you see him do something and you're like, where did that come from? And that just, like, there's nothing like watching your kid make a touchdown. I'm just telling you, or catch that, huge, fly ball and, center field. I mean, just, so that's what I'm talking about. No, you can
Yeah,
have the freezing days, you can have that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, because I like to not I like to not be cold, but I don't like to be too hot too, so I'm fussy. That's
Mhm,
the problem.
mhm.
So, but again, my kids didn't play sports, so, you know,
Well, yeah, you get the comfort of the theater. So lucky
I
you.
do, I do, I do. Um, so anyway.
And basketball's nice because it's indoors.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and, you know, being having grown up in Indiana, we do basketball.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
basketball is it's a thing. I mean, like,
Yeah,
that's what you do on Friday and Saturday nights. You
yeah, yeah,
go
yeah, yeah.
and you go and you do that and you scream until your ears hurt and you have no voice, but, the greatest thing ever.
Yes.
Um, yes. Uh, Again, everybody, my professor, um, I guess my former professor, all around fabulous person, Dr. Kimberly Majeski.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for doing this again.
Yes.
Y'all, listeners and viewers, I will put all of the websites and all that in the show notes so that you can check out things like the Arise Academy and learn more about Christian Women Connection and and connect with Dr. Majeski on socials and all the things. Do all the things. Do all the things.
We
Um,
would love to have you join us. You're all very welcome. It's so easy. I think it's like a $10 a month membership fee, which is like cheaper than your Starbucks. So come on and join our sisterhood. It's like 3,500 women across 25 nations. And it's pretty sweet to be locked arms with women in the work of building a better world.
yeah. So go and check it out, folks, and we will see you all next time. And thanks for thanks for being a part of the show.